Hello, Julie Mustangs. This is going to be the spiral review for May 6th, phase 3 of our distance learning. Let's go ahead and get started. The first one says, Mr. Garcia's class raised 354 box tops. Miss Perry's class raised 392 box tops. Miss Johnson's class raised 209 box tops. How many box tops did the three classes raise all together? So the main question here is how many box tops did the three classes raise all together? And that phrase all together means that we're going to add. So we're going to go ahead and add all of these up. So make sure that you keep them aligned. 354, 392, and 209. Make sure that one's place stays aligned. So I'm going to go ahead. 9 plus 2 is going to give me 11, and 11 plus 4 is going to give me 15. So I'm going to put down the 5, regroup the 1. I know that 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 5 is also 15. So I'm going to put down the 5 and regroup the 1. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So how many box tops did they raise all together? They raised 955 box tops. Please make sure that you are putting these in complete sentences, just like I know 4th graders know how to do. The next problem, what is the difference between 12,948 and 5,337? The key here is what is the difference? Difference means to subtract. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 12,948 minus 5,337. And please remember to keep those ones place lined up. So I'm going to start in the ones place. 8 minus 7 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 9 minus 3 is 6. 2 minus 5 I cannot do. But if I take some sugar from my neighbor 1 and make that a 0 and make this 2 a 12, then I can easily do that math. 12 minus 5 is 7. So the difference is going to be 7,611. Next one, what is the value of 4 tenths in decimal form? This is where we have to remember we have hundreds, tens, ones, decimal, and then we have our tenths. So I'm going to put a T with a TH. S for tenths place, and then we have our hundreds, an H with a THS for our hundreds place. In this one, we are trying to figure out what is 4 tenths. Since this is the tenths place value, we're going to go ahead and put the 4 in that place value. So I'm going to end up with a 0 decimal 4 for my 4 tenths in decimal form. And that's it. That's your answer right there. All right, next problem. Look at the rectangle below. The dimensions are given in feet. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? Now, this is a really easy problem, but you have to remember that perimeter equals length plus width plus width, meaning you have to add up all the sides all together to get the correct answer. So, if this side is 6 feet, then this side over here has to be 6 feet. And if this side is 9 feet, then this side down here also has to be 9 feet, which means we're going to add up 6 plus 9 plus 9. You can do this in a couple different ways. I'm going to go ahead and add up 6 plus 6 and get 12, and then add up 9 plus 9 and get 18, and 12 plus 18 is going to give me 30. So my perimeter is going to be 30 feet. The reason why I'm not putting squared feet in there is because that is only for area, and since we're finding perimeter, we do not have to worry about that. The next one, it says bonus, but you are still supposed to attempt to try these problems. It says decimals, so it's already started at 4U with 1/10 in fractions, and then they show you how to write it. 1/10, 3 tenths, 3 tenths. Fill in the rest of the tenths. So I'm going to do this a couple different ways. I'm going to first do it in decimal, and then I'm going to do it in written form. If you only wrote it in like written form, that's totally fine. So 5 tenths in decimal is going to be 0.5 or 5 tenths. That's all you have to do on that one, okay? 7 tenths is going to be 0.7 or 7 tenths, okay? And 9 tenths is 0.9 or 9 tenths. Sorry if that cursive is hard to read. It's just a little bit easier to do on my iPad. And for our last one, draw a polygon that has a right angle. This problem is actually a lot easier than you think. Polygon is any shape as long as the edges are straight and there are no gaps. So for example, this can be a polygon. This cannot because of this space that's not connected. This can be a polygon, but this cannot be because there are rounded edges and there is no connection. So those are kind of some stipulations for polygon. Polygon, not polygon. Polygon, not polygon. So you could have drawn any shape, which means you could have done a square because that has a right angle. You could have done a right triangle. So if I were to draw a triangle, I need to show that it has that 90-degree angle in there. Let's see, you could have done, again, anything that has a right angle. So if I were to draw something like this, as long as I show it has a right angle, okay? That's all you had to do on that problem, and you only had to draw one. That's it for today's math. Fairly simple. I hope that helped, and I'll see you for the Math Spiral review on May 7th. Have a good evening.